Thank you so much for everybody taking the time to join into the live stream this evening, this Sunday evening, Sunday at Mike's. We are here again. If you're watching live right now, or if you're watching this in the rerun, I want to let you know I do appreciate it so much for you taking the time to do so. How is everybody out there this week? You know, I usually, Ben, hello, sir. Good to see you in the chats. Good to see everybody in the chats this evening. You know, I'm usually I'm open with my YouTube channel in terms of the comment section. Hey, hello. Thank you for taking the time to join in. Hello. And I read them, and you know the way it works on a YouTube channel, you can see. Hey, hello. Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. You can see them as they come in, as people write them. I'll get a email or announcement from YouTube saying somebody made a comment on one of your videos. And I had a guy today kind of take me to task for the video that I did on Lumpy's Tone Shop. And just for a little bit of background for you guys to remember, Lumpy's Tone Shop, or Electric Magic, whichever you wish to call it, is a small one-man pedal operation. Hey, from Ireland. So good to see you back. Welcome, welcome. Lumpy's Tone Shop, Electric Magic, is a one-man operation. I do believe he's out of Philly. I have to try to stretch my mind to remember, but in any case, he is an extremely superb pedal maker. The pedals that he makes have really unique and fantastic tones to them that are, it's really head and shoulders above a lot of the pedals that I've heard from similar boutique makers. But his problem was he had a really bad, spotty track record of mailing stuff out. In my case, I bought a pedal for him 4 years ago. I guess coming up on, it took 4 years after my initial order for me to get the pedal. And I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people that got stiffed, and over the course over many years. So it was kind of a gamble if you ordered from him. I didn't know that at the time. I found it out later. So I made the video on YouTube to say, hey, look, this guy, you need to, he'll get it to you eventually. I make a joke to you guys about who will wait 4 years for a custom guitar, but I sure did wait 4 years for a pedal. That's funny, man. It sucked just as much as you would think, because I was like, oh my God. Thank God it's a pedal. I had, $120, whatever it was for the pedal, as opposed to 5,000 for a guitar. It's still a better deal. But anyway, I digress. And I made the video just to say, hey, this was my experience, and this is how it went. And as soon as I got the pedal, 4 years later, I made another video where I said, hey, this is a great pedal. Well, he said, well, you made the video, talking about how great the pedal was, but you didn't apologize to him. I was like, whoa, wait, whoa. I'm not going, or take the video down, or retract your previous statement. No. I said to him, I appreciate, your thoughts on this, but no, that video stays. And I'll say it here on this live stream if he catches this good, so that I'm clear. That video stays, because even though he's got his act together now, and he apparently seems to be shipping a little bit more, with a little bit more speed, let's say, than he was in the past, or at all, he's still a red flag. He obviously didn't feel bad about taking money from me and a lot of other people, and holding on to it for 4 years or whatever, and so no, I'm not taking that video down. It still stands. The video I did praising the pedal, that still stands well as well, because if you want to roll the dice, and order from this guy, or even a safer bet, in my opinion, is try to find them when they come up on Reverb or eBay. They do from time to time. People are going to upcharge you on them, but there's a reason why that is. They're actually good. All of my favorite pickups, Decky custom pickups. And so, yeah, I'm keeping that video up, guys. I'm keeping that video up. That video is not going anywhere. And no, I don't feel I owe him an apology. If anything, with the second video, I gave him a little bit of promotion, but no, I'm not taking that down. Canada in the house. Love watching these videos on a Sunday. Thank you so much, man. That's so good to hear. I don't know if you guys caught it. I did a show with Jock Richmond this week. We put up here on the regular content for this channel, where he and I talked about AI in music production. And between the two of us, we have a lot of years of experience in the business, and we both came to the conclusion. Well, anyway, I'll let you guys watch it. If you haven't seen it yet, do take the time to watch that. That's a pretty cool interview. The audio wasn't so great. We will work that out. That's something that Jock and I are going to do at least once or twice a month, where we're going to pick a topic and we're going to talk about it. So that was kind of the inaugural one that we did, and I liked the topic. I liked the flow of the conversation, and it came out really well. Still waiting on Uncle Carl. He's not well, as you guys know. He's 83 years old, but he will be coming up here at some point. All right. Greetings. Glad to see everybody showing up. Thank you so much, guys. I often, as you know, sit for a little while and contemplate what I'm going to talk about on Sunday nights. I like to keep it fresh as possible and to keep it interesting. Days World of Fun Stuff. I know that. I know Days World of Fun Stuff. Yeah, dig that, man. Yeah, that's a great channel. Check that one out. And I like to keep it interesting. And it's something, guys, to look at what's going on in the market with guitar. This is a fascinating time to be reporting and talking about it, because, my goodness gracious, things are really taking, a turn in terms of prices and stability of the markets for the worse, I think. And it's not a good thing, I'm saying, guys. I'm just saying that it's a fascinating thing to behold. Now, I like 3-chord Dave. He's a good guy. And he posted this week, maybe last week, a week or so ago, about the new Epiphones. And one of the things that he said, and he and I, to my knowledge, there may be others that I don't know of. I'm sure there are a few, but he and I'll give it to him that he maybe even precede me slightly. Not that I heard him and then repeated him, but I didn't start following him until, for some reason, our algorithms crossed, and I said, who's this guy? And he was talking about the fact that Epiphone prices were going to start to get into the $2,000 range. He was saying this a long time, but the same time that I was saying. You can go back and look at my old videos and see that I've been talking about this for a while. Well, he pointed out last week something that astounded me. Again, the speed of which these things are occurring is off the charts. Off the charts. He pointed out, and I had to look it up because I didn't believe it when I saw it, that the new, well, I don't know how new it is, but the Dave Mustang Flying V with the Fleshman pickups, in terms of euro cost, was going for 1,829 euros, including the VAT and shipping. And I couldn't believe that. I said, "Are you an Epiphone 1829?" Yes. Translating that over to US dollars, that's $1,959.54 as of today for an Epiphone. Now, when I was talking about it, I don't know how he was. I guess he seems, well, I'm not surprised. I guess he thought it was going to happen a lot quicker than I did. I thought it would take some time. I'm astounded by the speed we have. We are $40, less than $40, and some $30 and $39 and change away from hitting that $2,000 mark on an Epiphone. Dig that. So, thus the title of tonight's show, topic of discussion, is really looking at how Epiphones have just, boy, it's in the signature, the artist series, obviously, that's where they seem to have staked their ground in terms of getting up there in those price heights. The artist, I do believe I read somewhere. Hey, Mickey, welcome, sir. Good to see you this evening. Thank you for showing up. If I'm not incorrect, that an artist like Joe Bonamassa or Dave Mustang, whatever, they generally make about $100 from every one that's sold. And that's in the markup. They do include that in the markup. But still, at, what was that? At $1,959.54, where's the other $1,859 worth coming from? I mean, that is astounding. An almost 2,000. I mean, just a hair's breadth away. If you tip the mailman for bringing in one piece, you're at $2,000, man. That really accelerated quickly. And I began to think to myself, what's interesting that I'd like to see? I'd like to see how these signature price guitars, since we saw that change, the Epiphone 59 is still 1,000 new here in the US, 79 when I bought it. Yeah, we saw that with those. There's some retailers that are still willing to give on those. They ain't giving on some of the ones that I'm about to mention here. Now, with the Dave Grohl 335, is it 335 or 339? Anyway, it's a DGB 339 or 335. My goodness, I think that those will be the ones that will definitely cross the Rubicon of $2,000 at this rate. The Greenie, everybody's excited about the Epiphone Greenie, Kurt Hammett Greenie copy coming out. I can't see how that's going to be anything more than a glorified Lazarus myself. But they're somehow going to, that one, it's not going to be one of those ones like I suspect that Dave Grohl will be pushing the 2,000 mark, but it'll be up there. It'll be in the $1,499 range, I'm suspecting myself. But I began to ask myself the question, okay, these new Epiphones are really starting to get up there in terms of price. Now, I will acknowledge those out there of you who are shaking their heads and saying, and I'll always acknowledge this, because it's something that people take in consideration, that this is a Chinese-made guitar. Why would you spend that money for something produced in China? Even though we all know that the quality of Chinese-made guitars have obviously drastically improved since their auspicious beginnings, shall we say. But, really, putting that, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know if you can put that aside. I'm sorry, what I'm trying to say is I don't know if you can put that aside at these prices, because there's got to be a whole heck of a lot of justification. We know the woods that are being used on these guitars, in case unless they have bid it up and started importing a higher quality of the Asian mahoganies and Indian laurels and things that they've been using up to this point, then there's a whole lot of questions I have there. New gear is nice, but at some point you have to say, no, yeah, that's always been, as you guys know, the motto of this channel is I'm good. We'll do t-shirts one of these days. But I'm good is the basic idea of this channel. But we are seeing a increase in these prices, and it's alarming to me. And I'm asking myself, well, what's the result of these in the used market after a while? So I picked 3 Epiphones, well-known ones, that have come out recently, and I crunched a couple of numbers here. The first one is the Adam Jones model. You guys are familiar with that. The first one was the Veil of Bees. So I use that as, it's been a while since that's been out, so we can we'll see what the market has settled on those, trust me. The third, or is this the 4th iteration that they've come out? It's either the 3rd or the 4th one. Those are still sitting in the retailer's shop. The heat is definitely off of this one, and so that reflects in its secondary market value. The Adam Jones, people are asking at one point up to $2,300 for these. Now, somewhere between $1,600 and $2,300 was the ask range on these. The average sales price on this guitar was $1,300. I do believe that this guitar was retailing maybe in and around $100 plus or minus of that price. So with one weird one, there was one that was really the true mean of the value of that. It was $1,300. There was one that offset things a little bit for $1,699. But that sold on 4/20, so I just figured the person was high when they bought it. That definitely was a late night, ill-advised purchase. I noted the sales date on that one. Just averaging out between Reverb and eBay, just looking at those sites in case you guys are wondering where I'm pulling these numbers from. So we see there that the Adam Jones, I would say, has held its value. I would say so far. People aren't nuts about buying them, and we shall see if this continues to hold, because they still have 3 more releases. Yeah, 3 more releases to go. But we are seeing that the Adam Jones, I would say it's fair to say that if you bought it, you're pretty safe in terms of value. Now, guys, I want you to keep this in mind. This is all in context of what you're looking at, that Dave Mustang Flying V. And do you think you're going to get your value, a hold of value on that? Let's look at some others and see if that will hold up as a premise. The Joe Bonamassa 335. I was a proud owner of that guitar myself, and I traded it in, so it's not fair to use my number. But that was retailing for $1,599. Yeah, $1,599. And the average ask price between Reverb eBay is averaging around $1,300 at this point. So already in the secondary market, you've seen a loss of approximately $200. That's just in your ask. The average sales price for this instrument is $900 US. So initial cost $15.99. Now the average price that people are selling them, just actually selling, not asking, but what they're actually selling them for is about $900. With the high being at $12.99, still you're off, well off from what you paid for it if you bought it new. I kind of suspected that. That was one of the reasons I traded it instead of trying to sell it outright. And I traded it while it was still kind of hot too. You'll notice that, guys. That some guitars I'll review them because that's one thing that I have to do. I gotta keep things going through to keep things interesting. I just got the 59 last week. Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. I think, and I've said it before, guys, for a mass-produced guitar, it's not a limited edition anymore. We've already established well that it's not a limited edition, but for a mass-produced, a mainstream guitar like that, that's there's guys like me who called me crazy, 2-3 years ago when I sold my Gibson, was at Standard 60s, and I kept the Epiphone. You got guys now, I'm reading on the forums, they're saying, hey, you know what? I sold my Gibson, I kept the Epiphone, the 59. So, yeah, dig that. Good value. The sales on those, I can tell you that from experience, you're going to get about $500 with the case used for that if you sell that on average. That's going to be your hit you're going to take. So if you're going to buy in the secondary market, keep that in mind. That's your price. I do not blame you. There are, let's go on. Let's continue. So we see there that with that Joe Bonamassa, they always say, well, the Joe Bonamassa's 59 bought last year. It's my number one. Such a good instrument. Nothing I got nothing to say about it. I've got nothing bad to say about those guitars. As you know, I had one for quite a while. If it hadn't been for me stumbling across that Stoner guitar and being able to make the trade and the deal that I did where it was basically a wash, and then I'd still have the 59. So yeah, with that Joe Bonamassa, guys, that whole thing that they said, well, if you buy Joe Bonamassa guitars generally hold their value. Not in the case of this 335. No, it did not. As a matter of fact, like I said, $15.99 was your buy-in. You can get about $900 for those now. Now, in the secondary market, if you can buy that for $900, if you can find that used and in good condition for $900, you have got yourself a bargain. Now it's at the price that, quite frankly, it really should have been in the first place. It never should have been higher than $1,000. It really shouldn't have been. It was a great guitar. It was well made. It was one of the best made Epiphones that I've ever laid hands on, and yet and still, you can see. But because of that, if you can find a Joe Bonamassa in the secondary market, you got a target price. Now, it's really not a $900 guitar at the end of the day. You want to try to negotiate around that. The Jerry Cantrell Custom. This one was fascinating to me because this is a very popular Epiphone guitar. I had no idea. I never really paid too much attention to it. It's the one example that I saw is a Snow White guitar with Snow White EMG pickups on it. And I just thought to myself that, maybe this works if I'm going to play like the Victoria's Secret fashion show or something like that, and I need something, contrasting that much. But other than that, it kind of turned me off. But it's a popular guitar that is being listed at most retailers for $12.99. In the secondary market, the ask on these, the average asking price is $1,234. $1,234. So people are basically just asking $50 off on these when they're trying to sell them in the secondary market. Now, how is that bearing out? The actual sales price, what they're actually selling, now this is not including taxes and shipping, but what they're actually selling them for. We all strive to play Victoria's Secret Show. I still wish they're still doing it. I'm gonna get in trouble with my thoughts on Victoria's Secret Show because when they started messing with the formula and stopped being aspirational, let's just put it that way, that cooked the goose with them. And that's why even the one down here on the Lice plane is closing, going out of business. Because don't nobody want to see, well, never mind. Well, maybe some of you guys want to see, I don't know. But I digress. So they were asking $12.99 for these Jerry Control Customs. They're actually selling for $800. Not as bad of a drop as you're getting with those Joe Bonamassas, but still a precipitous drop from the if you bought it for $12.99. You're basically taking a $500 hit in both of those cases, and on average, with the exception of the Adam Jones, and it still may be too new to really try to get a firm ground as to if it's going to hold that relatively still close to its value price. It may, I don't know. They're pretty cool guitars. I got a chance to actually touch one of them down at Newtstrek at the shop. You guys know I go to, and yeah, it felt good. Just like the Bonamassa, it felt like one of the best Epiphone I've ever touched. Do I think it's worth, that kind of money? $16.99, wherever they're asking for it. 94, 1684, is that what's the one that I was looking at? Was the ask on that? You're losing 300. See, you're seeing here, even with that, 1684 is the ask. The average buying price people are buying it for is 1,300. On all of these cases, you're averaging about $350, $400 loss on these models. Now, like I said, the upside of this is in the secondary market. If you can wait it out, I'm good, so I can wait it out. Don't really need it, or maybe I do need it, but I'm going to be smart about it. I'm going to wait to get it at the best price possible. And I'm not one of those guys who has to buy it new. Gotta get one, buy one. I'm not that, buy. I'm not that guy. I can wait, and if you're that guy too, you can see with these numbers that you'd be doing yourself a real service by waiting to buy them in the secondary market, especially that Joe Bonamassa. If you can get that, like I said, for $800-900 like it's going for, you've done well. You'd be smiling because it's a well-made guitar that's going to hold up, and for that value, especially with those Gibson pickups in it, and because believe me, you do not want to have to get into wiring yourself a 335 or a 339. It's just not something you want to do. My good friend, the guitarista, I just saw him send a guitar back because he did not want to deal with the 339, I think it was. He did not want to deal with trying to deal with the wiring of that sucker. It's a pain in the ass. So if you can get one that's good to go for around $800-900 on the Bonamassa, 1,300, I suppose, on the Adam Jones, that may fall. You may see the Adam Jones after this run is over. If they don't come out with that, if they come out with that one that has nothing on the back, those are the ones that are going to definitely hold their value without question. These others in the line, the other 5, we'll see. So far, they're on average. They're losing just about as much as you would expect to lose on an Epiphone. There's nothing really special there. So I bring all this up, guys, just I'm looking at these prices of the Epiphones going up, but I'm seeing the percentage-wise distance between the sale of a Gibson from the time that you bought it, if you bought it new, to its actual sales price. The drop on those was actually a little bit more in dollar-wise, more than it used to be with an Epiphone because of the value dip. You talk about a $600 Epiphone, you sell it for $400. That's a lot different from buying a $24.99 and selling it for $2,200. You guys understand what I'm saying, percentage-wise. The Dave Mustaine Prophecy V is $14.99. Yeah, I can dig that. Over here, man, you're looking at $18.29 in terms of euros, and when you convert that over, that's $19.59.54. That's just the way it works, and, you know. And so, but coming to these prices are coming to to you soon, my friend. It shall land on your shores. Trust me. $13.99 for the Dave Mustaine Custom V. Yeah, you know, like I said, go to the prices on it over here in Europe. Again, $18.29 in euros. That's a Tall Man website, and that works out to $19.59.54. Crazy. It's crazy. So, something to dig. Yeah, it sucks to be here in Europe. Again, another reason why you should wait. If you're here in Europe with me, and do what I do, just wait for the secondary market. Wait for them to be used. Because, quite frankly speaking, if you buy it new, you better dog well love it. You better love it, or you better have a really good, you know. Yeah. Usually it's a 7-day return policy on these things. You better make up your mind real quick. I'm done with losing money on guitars. I won't buy new anymore. I find fantastic deals on used gear. I wait for the deal and the price I want to pay. Mickey, you are my man. That's why you and I are simpatico. We are. You know, they say great minds think alike. Well, you're the great mind, and I'm trying to think like you. Yeah, which leads me to my next subject. Yeah, secondary market, guys. You know, I'm buying guitars now. As I told you, I'm a buyer right now because I am running a YouTube channel, and I got to keep things going through here. I got a YouTube check last week. Yeah, it's not a lot of money, man. It's like, you know, we're talking about $400 or so. But it was burning a hole in my pocket. But that's what it's for. It's actually, again, like I said, a smart YouTube channel will take all of the money that's made from the revenue, no matter how little bit, and put it into the channel. That's how a gear channel, and that's why it's rough. It's tough starting a gear channel if you don't have gear. You got to kind of have it, and then you can trade around from there. But if you're starting from zero, it's very difficult. Just one of the things. I was fortunate to be able to do this and kind of get this rotation going, where now I'm getting advertising money coming in every few months, and then I can put that into something. And then if it's something that you guys find interesting, I can put it up for sale and say, hey, if you guys like this, you can have it. At least you know it's a good piece because I've reviewed it, and you can see what it's all about. So this week, I came across a very unique one. I'm going to preview this with you guys. Another guitar sitting here next to me. I have yet another one. And, you know, I am going to use this and what Mickey just said about waiting and buying secondhand and good deals. Excuse me. I'm going to kind of jump off of that and go into, you know, I talk about research. I talk about, you know, looking into guitars. If you're really interested in guitars, you know, I guess if you're interested in fishing poles, you're going to read Fishing Pole Monthly. I'm sure such a magazine did exist at some point. Sounds like a 70s magazine. But in any case, you're going to study, you're going to learn about guitars, or you know, if you're old enough like me, you're going to remember stuff and you'll come across some things, and or you'll hear discussions or people talking about things in old threads that you know, you start saying, let me investigate that. That sounds like something that might be interesting. And I began to hear about the story about, in preparation for a video that I was going to do on Fender. I was reading about Fender buying the Diamond company. Now, Diamond was a pickup company. Their Diamond 2000 pickups are all your classic Gretsch guitars, dating back to the 50s Gretsches, like Brian Seltzer's coveted Gretsch is got the original Diamond pickups in them. Well, Fender bought them, and in 1998, they said, hey, you know what? We've got this Diamond pickups company. Let's design some guitars in Asia, because this was the beginning. This was, the big sucking sound that Ross Perot was talking about. Well, this was the time, 97, 98, where that was starting to really kick in. And a lot of guys, Asia opened up, and so a lot of guys started going to the companies in Asia that were settled by that point. Now we know, we've talked in length about the Japanese companies, but I haven't really talked to you guys about the Korean companies now that produced guitars back in the 80s and 90s. And prior to that as well. Korea, in terms of guitar maker, has almost as long a history as Japan does in Asia. And the quality of that, and then some people would say, frankly, that the Korean guitars, in their opinion, are superior in some ways to the Japanese ones. Well, this is a first. I got 7 viewers, and I got 7 likes. The math has the math has worked out. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. I appreciate it. There was a company in Korea, a factory called Court. And this factory, which went out of business, and it was closed in 2005, 2008. The Court factory, the original Court factory, went out of business. But at this factory were produced some of the best Korean guitars of that period, that time, that 90s, late 90s, early 2000 period. And a lot of the guitars that are well sought after these days, the Asian-made Epiphones and some of those guitars were made at the same factory. But they said, we've got this, let's start producing guitars using the old Diamond body shapes with a new Diamond pickup. Produce them in Asia, have them made at the Court factory, and import them in here to the States as kind of our entry level, basically the lower cost guitar at that time for under the Fender banner. It was their first forays. They were already doing the Squire, of course, in Japan, and a lot of the Fenders in Japan. But they decided to give this a shot. And what they came out with was this guitar right here. So this is the Diamond. This is the M75T. Produced, you can see here in the back, still got the original sticker on it, their shop sticker. You can see made in Korea, produced at the Court factory. This one is the Champagne Sparkle with a Bigsby on it. They actually call these Digsby because Diamond got the licensing to get these through Bigsby, so Digsby. And you guys can see the back as well. There's no nicks or dings in this. No nicks or dings in the neck of the headstock. No nicks or dings in the body. For a 25-year-old guitar, made in 1998. This sucker is in absolute perfect condition. The only thing that's missing is here on these knobs, there was an insert, a D. It was the same D that you see here at the bottom there. It was also an insert that they had in these knobs. Now, because it was such cheap glue, and in most cases with this guitar, we'll talk about the pickups here in a minute. in most cases, those popped out. So when we look for these guitars online, they don't come, particularly the Champagne Sparkle. They don't come up very often. There's 4 colors. They don't come up very often, but a lot of them have either the knobs replaced or they have that insert missing. In my case, this guitar is all original. I still have the original knobs. I was missing 3 of the inserts. I had one. One knob actually had the original, still had the original insert on it. So I sent that to a friend of mine who has a 3D printer, and he is recreating, 3D printing exact copies, duplicates of that insert. So once I put those in, it'll be back to 100% the way it rolled out of the factory 25 years ago. So it was unique for me to find an original copy of this with nothing changed, everything still there. And more importantly, talking about these pickups, the fact that it still has these pickups. These pickups are actually very, very unique. They were only produced for 2 years. These are the Diamond 2K pickups. 2K pickups. These were designed by Bill Evans, who also went on to design EMG pickups. So he designed these. He took the old Diamond 2000 pickups, kind of reimagined it, and came out with this 2K pickups. Obviously, now these are Alnico 5 pickups. They're not hot. This one 7.2. I do believe this is 7.6. Alnico 5 pickups. They're very close to P90s. When he designed these, he moved away from the classical design of the pickup and style of the original Diamonds, and he came out with something that is more, it's not really like a P90, but it's in that neighborhood in terms of tone. But when you put this in the middle position, you do get that classic Diamond pickup sound, 2000 sound. These pickups, as I said, were only in a few of these Diamond guitar models that they produced, and they only produced these for 2 years. For 2 years, it's really weird because in 1999, in Guitar World magazine, it was top guitar pick of the month, and then a few months later they discontinued them. They didn't make them anymore. So we have here Rarity. You know, especially in the case of this M75T, because really these were only produced in 1998. It was retooled and made into the M77T later on. They hollowed the body out. I do believe it still had the 2K pickups on it. I'm not sure. They may have even they then redesigned they did 2 redesigns of the original Diamond pickup, the 2K and then the new 2000. So it's a little confusing when it comes to these pickups. But these 2K pickups are so popular now that they're going for about $100 a piece online. And if you can find them, because most people won't part with them. They do have quite, I like the sound of them. It's something. Rosewood neck. All the parts, everything is original, like I've said. It's getting to be a little piece of history. This is a 25-year-old guitar. So rarity there because it was only produced for roughly about a year. The reputation of it, everybody who has this guitar raves about the sustain and the tone of it. One of the things that they say is that it's heavy. I don't know, again, if I got lucky or not. This guitar weighs less than my current Les Paul. It's not heavy at all. Actually, to be honest with you, this one is not chambered. So the 75T is not a chambered guitar, but the next year when they retooled it and turned it into the 77T again, M77T again, that one became chambered. This one's not chambered, but it's light. You know, a Bigsby guys, that's gonna add some weight. This is not, a light thing to have at the end of your guitar. But even with the Bixby on this thing is not heavy. It's in a good weight Les Paul territory, in my opinion, as far as guitar is concerned. Again, made back in the days when they were still using good wood, good materials. Rosewood fretboard, really does make a difference. So, identifying the right gear, you know, and then the fact of one of them came. This one actually, guys, it came up locally here in Amsterdam. I was really surprised. I was looking into it a little while back, and one of them came up for sale here locally in Amsterdam. So I got on the tram and went to the guy's house and bought it off of him. I looked at it, looked it over, and immediately said, I'll take it. So I am waiting for my friend to send me back the inserts. The other thing with this is that they came with a case. And I'd like to try to put it together 100% original with its original case. But holy moly's, man, it is, the fact that this is a 25-year-old guitar and it's dang well in perfect condition is a miracle in itself. To find one of these with its original case, or to even find one of its original cases, because again, this company's not in business anymore. They don't make these anymore. There's nothing like it, and the secondary market has made its swaps on this decade ago. This is a 25-year-old guitar. So I've been trying to find a case for it because it will not fit a standard Les Paul case because of that Bigsby. The height difference there is in the bout is too high. So dig that. I am on the hunt trying to find the case for this. I did find one. It had been sold, but they were asking $199 for that case. That'll show you how people want to try to put these together with original cases. That ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that. But I do have to find a case that it fits. So that is the one thing. So the case, I got my friend printing the 3D inserts that will go, again, right here, inside of here, there's a little D. It's I don't know, it's like plastic or metal kind of insert, and it just fits in right there. But it was such cheap glue over the years, they all popped out. But again, 3D printing, because thank goodness I have an original one to use as an example, and you won't know the difference. Those are two things with this. So I bought it, paid cash for it, got it at a good price, in my opinion. No, not just in my opinion. I know I got it at a good price. And just a pleasure to try something like this. Again, nothing that was on my radar, but it was one of the ones in my home file. My home file of the guitars that I know are rare. I know that they have a good reputation, and I know that that if you were to get into one, if you could find them, because again, the rarity, you'd be doing all right. So that's kind of where I'm at with this, guys, with my kind of thinking in terms of the stuff that I do buy. These are not extraordinary. These guitars, it depends. Again, there's some guys over here in Europe, they're asking $1,300 for this guitar. Try a Gretsch case or whatever model looks. Yeah, I'm looking at cases that would fit the dual sonic G520 5220. So a 5220 and this are kind of basically in the same ballpark with each other, especially in terms of that Bigsby and the bout. So, however, again, like I said, I have to balance this out, in terms of how much I'm willing to spend. I'm not going to spend half, or a third of the price of the guitar that I paid for on a case. It's not going to happen. When I mean I'm looking for a case for it, I'm not looking for a new one, even a used one. It probably will be a used Gretsch case or something similar to that, but I'm not buying it new. I'm looking for it on the used market, which makes it a little even more difficult. But again, keeping the cost down on this, because if I do decide to move this one on, I'd like it to have a good case. But again, like I said, I can't get ridiculous as far as that's concerned. And finding the original case for this, and again, that's the thing too. So when you're out there and you're looking for this kind of stuff, do your homework. Do your homework, and then you do your homework again. I knew everything about this guitar before I stepped into that guy's place. Again, I'm not exaggerating that. I knew everything about this guitar before I stepped into this guy's place, and I had just learned about it maybe 2 weeks prior. You know, really because I dug into it. Who made it? What's the sales for? What's the pickups? Everybody thinks that these are exceptional pickups that aren't made anymore, so you're not going to get these anywhere. The only way you're going to get them is in the used market, and guys don't let them go. So that's interesting to me. Again, like I said, it was only made in 1998 and through 98, 99, but the models even between those 2 years are slightly different. This is the original one. And so that makes it unique, unlike the limited edition 59. I know I keep bragging on that limited edition badge, but it just works me off. One thing I've learned over the years, don't send too much on the guitar you're not going to. Yeah, exactly so too. You know, and you got to watch those things. Every guitar that I buy and sell deserves a hard case. But I am not going to be ridiculous on that. I'm going to go to flea markets. I will go to those kind of extent where I can take $20 out of my pocket and say, hey, I'll take that case. Done deal. Then I'm happy and it makes sense. Anything other than that does not make sense. So keep that in mind. Try to get them as complete as possible. If it's something that's rare, know what knobs came with it. So I knew from the catalog. I looked at the catalog and got the description of the original thing, what it was made from, all those details. I knew what the knobs looked like. I knew what the Bigsby was supposed to look like. I knew what the tuners were supposed to look like. I knew all those small details that when I held up the guitar in my hand and I flipped it over and I looked at it, I said, okay, this is all 100% original. I've seen guys selling this online saying it's 100% original, but the knobs are obviously Gibson knobs. They're not the original knobs. So, so you take those things in consideration. So you really do your homework. But again, the theme of tonight, and I think we went through these numbers, with these signature model guitars, that you're doing yourself a favor by shopping on the secondary market. First of all, you can find some cool things. I mean, come on, guys. Come on now. How cool is that? I mean, that is just butt-kickingly cool. Look at that sparkle. I never thought that I would be into a sparkle guitar. But that thing, that's just killer. Even like the headstock. That's just a killer sparkle. I never thought that I'd be into a sparkle guitar. And yet I look at this thing and I love it. I love it. I think it's so cool. It is so cool. And so there's that. Nice looking, great marks. No problem. Better late than never, I always say. But yeah, and the coolness factor too. Because that's, I'm not going to buy some weird, off Y-shaped guitar with a, inverse V neck. I'm not going to do that because you really have to, that's a small market of people who are going to like that. I love the Sparkle 2 bin. It's faded. You'll see it I'll do a review of this, not this week because there's another guitar coming in I'm going to review, but in the week after I'll do that. Here, it's faded. You can still see the original color here. I bet you if I take this pick guard off that it'll be darker like it is I don't know if you guys can see that right in here. You can still see a little bit of that original. It's faded actually over the 25 years down to, I think, a really good sparkle. Just just something. I think it had a lot. It was sharp. It was called champagne sparkle, so it was more of a gold kind of champagne. Now it's mellowed out to like a silver hue, and it looks cool. And I never thought I'd like a sparkle guitar before. Mike McWilliams, he wasn't into sparkly guitars. This one came along, and I had to say, hey, I don't think anybody would not find that cool, especially with those pickups. So those are the kind of things that I look for. Again, like I said, I'm not going to review or buy. I'm not going to touch anything I'm not interested in. I'm not going to review things just because it's the latest, greatest, hot thing. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, man, isn't that something? Dig that. I loved it too. I couldn't believe when I saw it in person. I said, "Wow!" I fell in love with it. This is going to be a hard one for me to move on. I have to be honest with you. This is a tough one because first of all, again, like I said, it's got that background on it. It's got a story on it, and that's interesting to me. I like the ones with a story. And as it stands right now, at 25 years old, this is the second oldest guitar that's in this house. My Yamaha acoustic still beats it out, but not by much, just by 5 years. So 30 years versus 25. But yeah, it's a beauty. And so those are things that I'm looking for when I do buy the guitars that I am going to review on this channel. And that's what you can expect. And so when you're out there on the secondary market, do your homework. I know I sound like a broken record, and I always end up at the same spot at the end of every show. It seems like every week. I don't want to be preachy or anything like that. I'm just saying, hey, do your homework. Know it, identify things, know what you're looking for, and you will not get burned. And if you know your price, stick to it too. Know everything about it is that you're buying, and buy it used. Well, in this case, obviously, it's not going to be bought new, but in the case of some of these Epiphones that are coming out these days, we all get an itch. We're human. We all say I'm good, but let me try. Oh, that looks so cool. I really want to try that. Well, use a little bit of discernment and wait. Wait for it to get onto the secondary market. Wait for it to get to the used market. Because as you can see with these price drops that I calculated out here, you'd be doing yourself, a favor in doing that. Don't buy it new. I would not touch any of these Epiphones new. You will not see me buy a new Epiphone. Ironically, I have an Epiphone that I'm waiting for. God, it took from the time that it left Japan to the time it's going to hit my door, it's going to be about 3 weeks. So I have to take that in consideration too if I'm going to be bringing more guitars over from Japan. But this is an Epiphone that's coming over. And I bought it secondhand. And trust me, I didn't pay for what they were asking for it. Actually, because it's in Japan and because it's yen and I'm using euro, I'm getting a great deal on it. But still, I did the research on it. I knew that it was something that it comes with a case. So that's cool. So you guys will be seeing the unboxing of that this week, probably, fingers crossed, this Friday. I'll put that video out. It should be coming in. But again, that's another guitar that I researched, looked at, and made a decision on, and said that's something that's interesting to me. So there's that. We have an actual Japanese Epiphone coming in. and I've been talking about them. I haven't in the course of my entire YouTube channel life, I've never had a Japanese Epiphone. For an example, this will be a first. It's kind of a milestone. I've talked about how great they were, which they are, but no, this one is a Japanese model, but I still think it's made in the Chinese factory. in all honesty. But it is something that was exclusive only to Japan. Anyway, yeah, that's it, guys. How are we doing? Yeah, we got to an hour. I think that's a decent place to close this out. I think that we can end this here. Yeah, if you guys haven't got a chance, look at that look at that tape show that I did with Jock on AI and music. One of the points that he brought up about publishing blew my mind because I hadn't even thought about publishing. I owned a Japanese Epiphone Elite Les Paul for many years. Yeah. Yeah, you're sorry you let it go. Yeah, that's the story. Everybody consistently with those Japanese Elites. I'll have an actual one coming through here shortly as well. There's just such good deals on some of these Epiphones that they're asking crazy prices for over here, over in Japan, even with the shipping, and I get the VAT back because I have a retailer's license, so it's making sense to me. So we'll see some more of those, the ones that I'm interested in, again, the ones that I find interesting. But yeah, the thing he said about publishing blew my mind. We're in big trouble. If you're, the guys who say, "Oh, I make beats," those your YouTube producers, which some of them are good. A lot of them, again, I haven't come from a background worked in 64 track, 72 track studios. I know what this is. This is a powerful tool, but it ain't that. But in any case, I think the days of those guys are numbered. I think AI can create without the need for them. I think the days for guys like me writing music for TV commercials is numbered. I think it's over. I think that publishing that you could count on or used to be able to count on as a steady income stream as a writer, producer, I think that the days of that are numbered. So plan accordingly. And much like the prices of these Epiphones, I think it's going to come on a lot faster. Every day, it's getting closer, rolling faster than a roller coaster. AI like yours has surely come my way. AA. So dig that, guys. Yeah, that's enough for today. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the live stream as always and check out what we're talking about here. Again, look at that thing with Jock and I talking about AI and music. Yeah, coming up this week is going to be an unboxing. Fingers crossed that Epiphone from Japan will be here so we can unbox that and get into that a little bit. Maybe plug it in, tune it up, and play it a little bit. I feel more like playing these days than I did in the past. And so it would be prudent for me to try to play more. As you guys know, I just hate the way YouTube makes things sound, but for some reason, I think I found something that works, that sounds pretty good. So we'll try that path. But we will be unboxing that and trying that out here this week. So you got that to look forward to. Yeah, you guys have a good week. You guys take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Pay it forward in any circumstance that you can. And I will see you here. Hopefully in one piece next week. With things going the way they are out there, I'm not too sure. I'm literally taking it a day at a time, as we should. But thank you guys so much. This is great. 11 people viewing, 11 likes. The math is working out. I think I got myself a real channel here. And I want to I really do mean it, guys. Thank you so much for sitting in for an hour every Sunday night and listening to me talk about these subjects. I do hope you find it interesting and the history of a lot of these guitars and things as I do. And I will see you with more of it, unfortunately, next Sunday. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye. Cheers, guys. Cheers.